I recently just finished all 3 seasons of the original Star Trek series, and yes, since I know that you're wondering, this does include the unaired black and white pilot that featured Captain Pike. I think his name is Captain Pike. Just kidding, Captain Psych. Ha! Personally, there are tons of things about this show that I absolutely, deeply admire. But I think that the most important thing to me personally is Captain Kirk and what he stands for as an icon. Allow me to explain, kind sir, as my stool creaks. Within the past few weeks at my current workplace, my job has actually changed universally. Throughout the whole company, my job has just completely switched. Like, the whole entire operation has just kind of like flipped over, and they do it completely different now. But before it changed, I used to lead a small group of people every day in the morning. We had a very clear mission: to conquer the world. I can't really make this fist very well, but you get the point. Not really, but we would solve just about any operations problem that they threw at us. I mean, we would go up in there straight up Avenger style and start smacking down some solutions. People would always come to us with their problems, their dirty work, so to speak, and expect us to come up with a nice, clean solution. And not all of our solutions were nice and clean, but it didn't matter because, we were in a warehouse environment, and I mean, you have an open wound, no big deal. Slap some dirt and sawdust on there, you're good to go. JK, don't try that at home, kids. In all seriousness, though, we actually did take care of pretty much all these problems. As a matter of fact, I personally made it a priority of mine to make sure that we always found a way, especially if we had to do a little bit of life hacking along the way. In regards to our process of getting things done, one of my team slogans, so to speak, toward the end of my run was, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how. Well, if we could fit that there, as if no. It's not a matter if we can find enough room. It is a matter of how we are going to create enough room. It can be done. We just have to figure out how to do it. Of course, this doesn't apply to every single thing in life. But more than 95% of the problems that we ran into, especially the ones that got all the associates fired up and ready to start honey bunching some oats, you know what I'm saying? Of course you don't. You're just little people inside of a lens. You don't have the brain capacity to understand what I just said. My team knew it was more than possible to solve basically any of these problems. We just had to use our little noggins and tip our hat to imagination. I didn't always have this mentality. I didn't always embrace the practice of, if there is a will, there is a way. So now you might be asking yourself, what in the world or the universe does all of this have to do with Captain Kirk? As ridiculous as it sounds, my mindset, at least regarding personal will, was completely changed after watching Captain Kirk do what he did in the show. Each episode of Star Trek, or as I used to say as a kid, Star Trek, Captain Kirk and his crew always managed to find themselves getting into unique and seemingly impossible situations. I mean, things that are just like, these guys are so stuck that there is absolutely no perceivable way out. But of course, Captain Kirk always figured a way out. And he didn't do it just like any other person. He did it boldly. His crew would follow him into the depths of darkness. That is how confident this man was, and the amount of confidence that he instilled into his crew. The whole fun of the show to me isn't seeing whether or not these people are going to die or whether they're going to live throughout this situation. You already know that they're going to get out of whatever the universe throws at them. The whole fun of the show to me is seeing exactly how Captain Kirk does it. The dude is a classic marvel among fictional men, facing fears without hesitation, no excuses, no giving up, sticking it out until the end. A lot of times in life, you're going to have to face overwhelming problems that you might just feel are impossible to overcome. Realistically, you are more than able to solve most of these problems and move on confidently. But many of us just psych ourselves out into believing that there is just no way. No way. There is every doubt in the world against us. No one thinks we can do it. And really, most of the time, you just gotta unleash your inner Captain Kirk. I know it sounds ridiculous, but sometimes you just gotta say, you know what? I'm gonna do whatever it takes to solve this problem. No matter how draining it might be, and no matter how much work it might take, to overcome your own fears, overcome the odds, and face the music. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not talking about doing anything illegal here, or anything that violates human rights. What I'm talking about is having a deep and creative sense, a stronger level of determination, and not being afraid to step out and say, look, what I've been doing hasn't been working. I need to find another way so I can make this work. And you know what? Sometimes things just might not be able to work. But never let it be because of self-doubt. Don't let these ridiculous forum dwellers and naysayers dictate to you what is and what is not possible for yourself as a human being. You have more abilities than you could ever imagine. Just remember that it wasn't that long ago that people thought it would be impossible to launch a person into space and have them come back down alive. It wasn't that long ago that people thought it was impossible for a human to soar through the wind a mile in the sky and be able to come back down without a scratch, or that a person could breathe underwater for a day straight. But there was a man, or there was a team, or there was a group of people who believed otherwise. They worked hard to build leverage, to make their ideas and to make their dreams become reality. You just have to boldly go. Even if you have a squeaky stool like me. Is that what they call these things? Stools? Whenever I grew up, they used to call toilets stools. I think they still do, actually. I recently finished watching the first 3 seasons of Star Trek, and I became an android. I recently finished watching the very first. No. It's not true. There's 3 that I watched. I recently finished watching the first 3. No, that's still not right. Why am I saying first? It's not I watched all of them. I watched every single one of them. I finished. No. You just know how to speak so well, Eric. I envy your tone and your vocabulary, and the way that you speak is just so, professional. Oh, yes. I just nodded all over myself. That's great. But see, I like to do Child Arnold. Child Arnold says, I'm not the governor of California yet. Wasn't ready for that one. You learn to deal with yourself.